Listen carefully for at least 3 minutes and you will witness how divine breakthroughs begin to manifest in your life in the coming days. A sacred secret that for generations has been concealed from the masses. Have you ever wondered if there exists a spiritual key capable of shattering the chains that have held you captive, releasing miracles in a way that defies all human understanding? This profound truth, veiled in mystery for centuries, will be unveiled today to revolutionize your spiritual reality in a manner that only a select few have been privileged to experience. What if I told you there is a heavenly gateway, a divine mystery that only surrendered hearts can access, and that by embracing this revelation, miracles will begin to cascade into your life with unprecedented power and speed? Few have been granted entry to this sacred knowledge because its nature is holy and its impact transformative beyond measure. This is not a common supplication or empty religious words. It is a decree that moves the hand of God and releases supernatural intervention into your circumstances. But before you can receive this master key that will unlock your pathway to divine breakthrough, you need to comprehend why this decree transcends ordinary prayer. The distinction between petitioning and decreeing is absolutely fundamental for the spiritual mechanism to activate and for the promise of miraculous transformation to materialize without hesitation. There is a dimension of spiritual authority in this revelation that challenges everything you have been taught before, and if you dismiss it, you will remain distant from the miracles that God longs to perform in your life. Did you know that in the Bible, in Isaiah 43 verse 19, God declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" This is not mere coincidence. It is the foundation of this hidden power that today begins to be disclosed specifically for you. However, the road is challenging and only those who possess patience and unwavering faith will be able to cross the threshold toward genuine and lasting transformation. This knowledge was concealed because it revolutionizes destinies, unleashes supernatural signs and demolishes barriers that appeared impossible to overcome. As you progress along this path, you will sense that you are entering territory that was forbidden yet glorious, where the impossible bends to divine authority. Keep your spiritual senses sharp because in the coming minutes I will guide you through a journey that will transform your relationship with the miraculous forever. Remember that experiencing breakthrough rapidly is not a fantasy, but a promise that can be fulfilled this very day if you are willing to listen with an open heart and understand with spiritual perception. The key to this transformation resides in the difference between a conventional prayer and a powerful decree of authority. By grasping this truth, you will be prepared to receive the revelation that few comprehend and that will mark a dramatic turning point in your existence. Now that you have entered this mystery, prepare to discover in the following moment how to exercise that spiritual authority that will unlock the doors so that miracles flow into your life with speed and supernatural manifestation. It is no accident that you are here at this precise moment, and what is approaching will be the key you need to activate this divine breakthrough in your life. Remain vigilant because the true revelation is about to commence. You have already grasped that we are not confronting an ordinary prayer, but a far greater power, a spiritual decree that transforms the position of the one who prays. Today we do not beg anymore, today we decree. The season of pleading has ended. The hour has arrived to seize the authority that God has bestowed upon us to claim the breakthrough He has promised. This decree you are about to activate possesses the power to unlock the spiritual doors that seemed permanently sealed, causing miracles to invade your life in a rapid and astonishing manner, almost as if heaven itself descended into your circumstances. It is not a timid request whispered in uncertainty, it is a spiritual mandate that reverberates through the invisible realm like a hammer striking with divine force, like a flaming sword that severs all doubt and spiritual blockage. The voice you now raise carries weight, carries authority. When you declare this decree, something in the spiritual atmosphere shifts, and soon you will witness how supernatural interventions begin to manifest, just as it is written in Mark 11 verse 23. Truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, "Go, throw yourself into the sea," and does not doubt in their heart but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. That is the reality within your grasp. It is not about waiting passively, but about assuming the position of one who governs their spiritual destiny and declares breakthrough with divine authority. This is only the first stage of a process that will lead you to a complete activation of your spiritual power to receive miracles and attract heavenly intervention. The promise you heard at the beginning, that tremendous breakthroughs will invade your life in the coming days, is fulfilled because this decree has an immediate effect in the spiritual realm that subsequently manifests in your physical reality. When you decree, you are commanding that the gates of heaven be opened and that supernatural blessings descend upon you. It is not sorcery, it is faith in motion. It is the power that God granted us to be victorious and transformed. It is crucial that you understand that this authority is not acquired instantaneously, but is strengthened with each faithful step you take. That is why I invite you to write your first name in the comments to activate the power of this blessing. By doing so, you are taking the first visible step, the seal of your faith, because authority without a seal cannot sustain itself. That seal begins with the acts of faith that you yourself demonstrate. And that is the pathway for miracles to not only arrive today, but for their manifestation to be constant and overwhelming. Remember, you are not here to plead or to beg, but to command with the force of celestial thunder that announces profound spiritual shifts. This decree will not only cause you to experience miracles rapidly, but will open pathways that previously seemed impossible, multiplying your spiritual breakthroughs and causing divine opportunities to come to you in unexpected ways. The word of the Lord in Joel 2 verse 25 confirms, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten." This is the season when that promise becomes tangible reality. This authority that you begin to activate today will be developed and fortified throughout this journey until you reach the apex of your spiritual power, where miracles will not only arrive, but will multiply and remain in your life. But to reach that moment, you must first understand that the difference between praying and decreeing is the key that opens the door of supernatural intervention. It is not sufficient to ask, you must order and declare with unshakable conviction. So as we advance, remain steadfast in this position of commander. Faith is not a passive attitude, it is an active force that propels every word and every action. Your voice carries authority, and by declaring it you are charting the course so that miracles flow toward you rapidly and in supernatural measure. Do not forget to leave your first name in the comments, because that small act is the beginning of the seal that will guarantee that this blessing manifests in your life. Now that you know this is not just any prayer, but a decree of power that will cause miracles to come to you like never before, prepare for the next step. In the coming moment we will delve deeper into how your commitment and active participation will be the key to sealing this authority and making this blessing concrete in a visible and tangible way. The journey is just beginning and the greatest manifestations are yet to come. Every decree demands a seal. Without this, the authority you began to declare today cannot be sustained. It is at this moment where visible acts of faith become the pillars that affirm and strengthen the word you have pronounced. Every action you take now, far from being a simple gesture, is a spiritual covenant that closes the alliance with divine power so that miracles come to your life in a rapid and certain way, just as we promised from the beginning. Heaven is observing your response right now, attentive to every movement you make to seal this blessing. Write in the comments, "I take possession of the decree that will cause miracles to manifest in my days." That phrase will be your spiritual seal, the clear sign that you accept and claim the supernatural intervention that God has reserved for you. It is not just a word you write, it is the key that opens invisible doors, the activation that causes divine breakthroughs to begin to flow like never before. Your like is not simply a click. It is the hand that signs the contract with heaven, the gesture that declares your faith and commitment to this transformation. Every time you touch that button, you will be affirming in the spiritual world that you are ready to receive, to experience miracles in a supernatural and rapid way. Subscribing to this channel is not just another formality. It is the act that officially connects you with the current of divine intervention that has begun to move in your favor. By joining, you become part of a heavenly movement, a spiritual community that sustains and multiplies the force of this decree. By sharing this message, you become a channel of blessing for others, a bearer of light and supernatural power that extends grace and miracles to those around you. Whoever comments opens a spiritual door, a window through which the divine opportunities that previously seemed closed will enter. Every word you write is a declaration of possession, an act of faith that confirms that miracles will not only arrive, but will do so in a rapid and tangible way, even on this very day. Remember that this prayer, this decree is designed so that breakthrough touches your life without delay, so that the spiritual doors that seemed impenetrable open and bring unexpected miracles and multiplied blessings. There is no room for doubt in this moment, because your commitment is what sustains the authority you have taken. By sealing this pact, something even deeper begins to happen. Your identity begins to change. You are no longer one who waits for miracles, but one who attracts and commands them with the authority that God has given you. This inner transformation is the true force behind everything that is to come. It is not a mere external change, it is a spiritual renewal that prepares you to receive the breakthrough that will come as a direct response to this powerful decree. Now that the seal has been marked with your declaration of faith and commitment, it is time to see how transformation begins to grow within you. In the next step, we will explore how that new identity you are forging will be the engine that will activate even more blessings in your life, causing miracles to appear in ways you did not even imagine. Prepare to discover how to take the place that corresponds to you in this divine process of supernatural breakthrough and transformation. The journey continues, and the glory of God will manifest in your life in an astounding way. By sealing the pact with your visible acts of faith, a profound transformation began to take shape within you. The old identity that defined you as a victim, as someone who begged and waited for help, is being left behind. From the ashes of who you were, now emerges who you really are, a beloved child, a legitimate heir of the promises of breakthrough that God has for you. You are no longer a supplicating subject, but royalty clothed with the mantle of divine authority, ready to sit at the table of covenant where miracles are distributed generously. The Bible reminds us in 1 John 3 verse 1, "See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God." And that is what we are. Today that word comes alive in you, because the identity you assume is the key that will open the spiritual doors that seemed locked. You are no longer in the position of asking with fear or uncertainty. Now you occupy a place of authority and power to receive miracles with God's blessing. And those miracles will come quickly, even in these days that are to come. If before you felt like an orphan, helpless and voiceless, today you place the crown of a righteous and sovereign king on your head, an ambassador sent to claim what belongs to you by divine right. Defeat and shame have been left behind, because now you walk with the sword of the Word of God in hand, firm and determined to take the breakthrough that corresponds to you. You are clothed with a mantle that symbolizes victory and divine favor, the visible symbol that you have stopped being one who begged to become one who receives with confidence. This change is not only emotional or mental, it is spiritual and real. It is the difference between praying like a beggar and decreeing like a child who knows that the kingdom of God is in their favor. Without this new identity, the promise that miracles will come rapidly and surprisingly cannot be fully fulfilled. Because only the one who recognizes themselves as an heir can open the doors that lead to supernatural intervention and blessing. Imagine that mantle of royalty that now covers you, feeling how the golden crown rests on your head, symbol of the authority that God has granted you to govern in victory. As it is written in Romans 8 verse 37, "No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." That victory is for you who today decide to leave behind the identity of victim to assume that of king, of prince, of legal heir. You are no longer imploring for help. You sit at the covenant table prepared to receive the miracles that will arrive without effort, that will appear as an immediate response to the faith you have demonstrated today. This spiritual metamorphosis is the starting point for the breakthrough that will unfold in your life in the coming days. You are no longer one who waited, but one who attracts miracles with the authority that has been given to you. And it is this new identity that ignites within you the first flame of courage, that spark that propels you to walk with confidence toward the promised supernatural intervention. This is the preparation for what is coming, because only a child who recognizes their value can conquer the breakthrough that heaven has arranged for you. Now that you have assumed your place as heir, prepare to fan that flame, because in the next step you will discover how to transform that courage into action so that the blessing of miracles comes even stronger to your life. Now that you have left behind the garment of victim and have clothed yourself with the crown of heir, it is time to ignite within you that flame that no wind can extinguish, Courage. This is not ordinary courage, but a divine fire that places you alongside the warrior angels, ready to open the spiritual doors that will swing wide even today in your life. The Bible reminds us in 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love and self-discipline. Without that spiritual fortitude, the promise that miracles will come rapidly and surprisingly cannot fully manifest. Fear, shame and doubt are invisible chains that imprison the soul, blocking the path toward the breakthrough that God has prepared for you. But when courage ignites within you, those chains turn to ashes and the embers of that internal fire spread until they become a spiritual inferno that destroys all insecurity. Do not allow fear to be the master of your life. Today, courage sets your spirit on fire and opens the way for miracles to arrive without delay, for spiritual doors to open wide and for blessings to fall like abundant rain. The flame of courage begins small, like a barely visible spark, but it grows with each act of faith until it becomes an uncontainable fire that illuminates the darkness and dissipates every shadow of doubt. It is that fire that makes the enemy retreat, because fear cannot sustain itself before a heart full of faith and courage. Remember the words of Psalm 27 verse 1, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid?" This inner strength is what prepares you for the celestial invocation that will unleash the manifestation of miracles in your life. Without courage there is no access to divine intervention. Without fire in the spirit, supernatural blessings will remain out of reach. But with that courage ignited, you will be ready to receive the miracles that will come rapidly and unexpectedly, to experience breakthrough in ways that only faith can explain. In this moment, as you feel how that sacred fire grows within you, remember that you are not alone. The heavens are attentive to your transformation and will respond with the presence of warrior angels who accompany this process. And when the flame of courage burns strongly, celestial portals will open for the invocation that will activate all the promised breakthrough. Feel the power in your words, because when you say, "I take possession," you are sealing an alliance that cannot be revoked. The conquered territory fills with life and the miracles that seem distant begin to manifest in your daily reality, opening doors and pouring unexpected blessings. Sit at the table of covenant. Enjoy the breakthrough that God has prepared and walk with the certainty that every step is an act of spiritual authority. The battle has ended, but the manifestation of victory is just beginning. And when possession is assumed with faith, manifestation grows in proportions that exceed all human expectation. Prepare yourself, because in the next step the escalation of the manifestation of your breakthrough will reach cosmic heights and miracles will come to your life in surprising and overwhelming ways. Victory is yours, and now it is time to claim it with all the power that has been granted to you. By taking possession of spiritual territory and sitting firmly at the table of your inheritance, a powerful movement begins to unfold in your life. What you declared with authority does not stop at that instant. It multiplies and grows like an overflowing river that advances without restraint, carrying with it the promise of experiencing breakthrough that will come to you unexpectedly and abundantly in the coming days. What before was a small spark, an initial act of faith, has now become a fire that spreads with unstoppable force, illuminating every corner where before there was only spiritual darkness. Scripture in Isaiah 60 verse 1 invites us, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." And that light is the progressive manifestation of your breakthrough, which does not cease, but advances increasingly with more intensity. Every step you took in the spiritual battle, every word of authority proclaimed has generated a chain reaction that overflows like a divine avalanche, dragging away every obstacle that prevented the arrival of supernatural blessings. The doors that before were closed are now completely open, and what began as a key turning slowly transforms into a wide-open portal through which miracles enter without resistance. There is no pause in this escalation. The fire spreads, the lightning bolts of divine favor cut the sky, and the thunders of celestial justice rumble, announcing that breakthrough grows and approaches you every second. This manifestation is not static, it is not an isolated event, but a continuous and accelerated process that multiplies opportunities and opens spiritual doors that seemed impossible to cross. Feel how the spiritual movement you activated with your faith advances with its own force, like an unstoppable torrent that has been unleashed by the grace of God. There is no force in the world that can stop this escalation, because it is sustained by eternal promises and divine decrees that guarantee that miracles will come to your life in unexpected, rapid, and abundant ways. Every instant that passes, breakthrough gains more ground, multiplying your blessings and expanding your spiritual territory. Remember Psalm 68 verse 19 that says, "Praise be to the Lord, to God our Savior, who daily bears our burdens," because this supernatural intervention is not temporary, but an inheritance that grows without ceasing. This constant escalation prepares the ground for the next decisive step, the partial seal of the decree, that spiritual act that will consolidate even more the manifestation of your blessings. The force that today grows in your life is ready to be sealed and secured so that nothing can stop the flow of breakthrough that has already begun to manifest. Stand firm and alert, because the manifestation that seemed distant now approaches in an avalanche of blessings, and the miracles that will come to your life will have no limits or pauses. The victory you took becomes a growing movement that advances without stopping, multiplying the doors opened and the supernatural intervention that flows toward you. And although this escalation is already unstoppable, every process needs a seal that guarantees its continuity and security. The partial seal of the decree is ready to be marked, and that action will give a new impulse to the arrival of miracles and to the opening of the spiritual doors you await. Prepare yourself, because in the next step you will experience the spiritual consolidation that will take this manifestation to even greater levels, ensuring that experiencing breakthrough becomes a constant and undoubted reality in your life. Manifestation not only grows but strengthens and secures itself. And you are at the center of this divine movement that has no turning back. The movement that began as a small flame and became a fire that crosses heavens and earth is not now just a sign. It is already being sealed in the spiritual world. A part of the decree you proclaimed with faith has received a royal stamp, an indelible mark that no power can erase. This seal confirms that the miracles that before seemed distant and difficult to experience have already been released to flow toward you without obstacles. Like a signature stamped in the celestial book, this spiritual sign guarantees that nothing can stop the unstoppable advance of supernatural blessings that begin to manifest in your life. It is as if the spiritual doors, previously closed with invisible locks, now bear sacred marks, seals with royal blood that keep them open. Every key you turn with your faith has become a wide open door. And this first seal is the proof that the decree is alive, active, and in full execution. In Revelation 3 verse 8 we find the promise that sustains this reality: "I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." That assurance now translates into spiritual certainty that miracles will come to your life because the celestial contract has already been signed. This partial seal is not the end, but the guarantee that the spiritual escalation you activated continues its course, growing and multiplying. It is an initial victory that opens the way for the total restitution that is to come. Feel how the divine presence confirms that the flow of breakthrough has been initiated and that every instant strengthens that manifestation. The partial seal is the evidence that the decree works, that the word you declare does not remain in the air, but is embodied in spiritual reality and translates into concrete results. Nothing can erase this mark. It is inscribed with power and celestial authority. This moment is like a contract signed in heaven, a pact that ensures that the impossible has already begun to convert into tangible reality. Remember the words of Isaiah 55 verse 11, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it." That divine faithfulness acts now so that the breakthrough you need approaches you, so that spiritual doors open, and so that miracles flow in a constant and secure way. But this is only one part of the process. The seal that today is imprinted is an advance, a sample that partial victory has been achieved, but there is still much to receive. The spiritual escalation continues and manifestation is far from stopping. Prepare for what is coming, because if this first confirmation already guarantees that experiencing miracles will come to your life, the next step will be total restitution, the definitive opening that will multiply what now barely begins to manifest. If you're experiencing this powerful movement of God and feel the breakthrough activating in your life, subscribe to our channel right now. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new message of supernatural power and divine blessing. Join our community of believers who are witnessing miracles through the power of faith. In the next step, the keys of restitution will be delivered to transform this manifestation into a complete and limitless reality. Keep your faith and your heart open, because what began as a sealed decree is now ready to unlock all the potential of promised breakthrough. The manifestation of miracles in your life not only advances, but strengthens with each divine seal, preparing the ground for the spiritual climax that is to come and that will lead you to experience supernatural intervention in its maximum expression. The partial seal has already been marked. The spiritual guarantee has been released and the promise begins to take firm shape in your life. Now it is time for everything that was retained, everything that was unjustly taken from you, to return to you in abundance. This is the hour of restitution, a divine moment when the lost is returned multiplied, as the word in Joel 2 verse 25 says, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten, the great locust and the young locust, the other locusts and the locust swarm, my great army that I sent among you." It is not just about recovering what was taken from you, but receiving it with honor, joy, and new opportunities that will transform your spiritual reality. The decree you activated not only releases the breakthrough you hope to experience, but orders that the enemy, defeated and powerless, restitute everything he took from you with spiritual interest that multiplies by 7 each return portion. The ancient keys, those that seemed lost or hidden in inaccessible places, are now in your hands, opening celestial coffers and gates you never imagined crossing. It is like a river that was dammed for years of struggle is unleashed with force, flooding your life with blessings and supernatural intervention. Divine justice manifests in this full restitution, because the enemy has not only lost the battle, but is obligated to return every blessing, every opportunity and every divine favor that were taken from you. In Zechariah 9 verse 12 we are reminded, "Return to your fortress, you prisoners of hope. Even now I announce that I will restore twice as much to you." And now that inheritance returns to you, secured and strengthened by God's faithfulness. Restitution is not partial or limited. It is a doubled harvest, an abundant return that exceeds all expectation and confirms that the word you declared is alive and powerful. It is not only about miracles, but about the complete restoration of your honor and your spiritual position. Because this manifestation is also a divine reparation that opens paths so you can experience breakthrough in new and surprising ways. Feel how the doors that before were closed with invisible locks open as the keys that God delivers to you turn, allowing miracles to flow without obstacles. This return is a legal right in the spiritual world, a clear order that the enemy cannot ignore or resist. Everything that was stolen will return to you in multiplied and blessed measure, because God is just and faithful to fulfill his promises. And although this restitution is a great advance, it is only the beginning of something even greater. The manifestation you now receive prepares the ground for the supernatural multiplication that is to come, a divine movement that will take your breakthrough to levels that exceed all human logic. Stay in faith and attentive, because what began with a partial seal and continues with restitution now prepares for the next stage. Multiplication that will cause miracles to come to you in a surprising and constant way. Do not lose sight that this spiritual escalation is unstoppable and each step brings you closer to the promised breakthrough, the one that will transform your life and allow you to experience supernatural intervention in measures you never imagined. The next chapter of this blessing is about to unfold, and supernatural multiplication will be the key to opening even more doors and consolidating the miracles that have already begun to manifest on your path. What began with restitution is already manifesting in your hands, but the promise is not limited to returning what was lost. This divine decree has a power that transcends simple return. It multiplies, converts little into abundance, and transforms every blessing into an inexhaustible source. The word in Malachi 3 verse 10 reminds us, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." Thus the breakthrough that begins to come to your life does not only return, but sprouts like seeds in fertile terrain, giving fruit in unexpected places and in quantities that exceed all logic. Imagine a river that after being contained breaks its barriers and begins to overflow, flooding valleys and fields with living and abundant water. Thus occurs multiplication in your spiritual life. What seemed limited now expands without measure, filling every space with growing blessings. Your personal field flourishes with fruits you never planted, because heaven decreed that multiplication be constant and endless. Every door that opened in the restitution process now divides into 10 new entrances, and breakthrough runs like an unstoppable current, carrying opportunities and miracles where before there was defeat. This spiritual movement is not casual or temporary. It is a continuous cycle that establishes a pattern of exponential growth. Like a fruitful tree that gives harvests in each season, the supernatural intervention that begins to manifest reproduces and multiplies, generating full storehouses that sustain your life and that of those around you. In Deuteronomy 28 verse 12 it is declared, "The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season and to bless all the work of your hands. You will lend to many nations but will borrow from none." That order of breakthrough is active in your life now, causing experiencing miracles to become a natural and constant flow, not an isolated or limited event. Multiplication is a spiritual principle that always exceeds restitution. Not only do they return what was taken from you, but they do so in a measure that defies all expectation, creating an endless cycle of growing blessings. This expansive abundance is the divine response to your faith and perseverance, and the clear sign that you have entered a time where supernatural intervention has no ceiling or limits. Feel how every blessing that arrives multiplies, how provision expands, and how miracles flow toward you from diverse sources, all of them fed by a celestial decree that cannot be reversed. But to sustain this multiplication and for breakthrough to continue growing, it is essential to shield the mind against any thought of defeat or doubt. The next stage of this process is to prepare that inner terrain, that mental garden where only seeds of faith, confidence, and hope flourish. Only thus will multiplication continue being unstoppable, and miracles will come to your life in greater quantity and with greater stability. Shortly I will guide you to strengthen that internal garden and ensure that this current of supernatural intervention never stops or diminishes. The supernatural multiplication that began to flood your life with blessings and opportunities continues advancing like a growing current. But for this breakthrough not to dissipate, it is fundamental to protect the terrain where everything is decided, the garden of your mind. This internal space is the place where the seeds that will give fruit in your reality are cultivated, and only with a shielded mind will you be able to sustain the constant flow of miracles you are beginning to experience. The Bible reminds us in Philippians 4 verse 8, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Thus, renewing your thoughts is opening the door so that miracles and blessing grow without interruptions. Your mind is like a fertile field that can produce breakthrough or defeat depending on what is sown in it. If you allow doubt, fear, or disbelief to take root, those will be the fruits you harvest. But if you sow faith, confidence, and words of life, that harvest will be abundant and continuous. The prayer you activated not only released the miracles that are coming to your life, but also gives you a spiritual shell, a flaming shield that protects your thought from invisible arrows that seek to sow uncertainty. In 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5 we are told, "We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ." And now that shield is active in your interior, strengthening every corner of your mind. The seeds of doubt are uprooted, and in their place robust trees of victory are born, whose fruits feed your spirit and your destiny. There will no longer be space for fear to occupy your inner garden, because every thought is being renewed and protected, forming an impenetrable wall that rejects any attack of defeat or discouragement. Your mind becomes an illuminated fortress where no arrow of despair can enter or remain. This mental shielding is an essential part of the decree you activated, because without it the multiplication you are living could stagnate or retreat. Feel how that protection extends to every area of your life, ensuring that the breakthrough that begins to arrive is not only temporary, but the foundation for stable and continuous growth. This is the reason why the prayer that accompanies you not only opens treasuries of miracles, but also seals your mind against invisible saboteurs that try to steal your peace and your victory. Now you experience the tranquility of knowing that your thought is under divine custody and that every idea that germinates in your interior is destined to multiply what is good. And when the mind is truly shielded, prepared, and strengthened, a new door opens before you, the final door of inheritance, the threshold of complete and permanent blessing. That door is the entrance to a superior level of breakthrough and fulfillment, where miracles not only arrive, but remain and grow. Shortly I will guide you to cross that decisive portal that will consolidate everything you have gained until now. Stay in faith and prepared, because the path towards spiritual fullness is about to be revealed in all its magnitude. The final door is already open before you, without obstacles or barriers that stop the advance of blessing. The supreme moment has arrived, the powerful proclamation that will seal forever a radical change in the destiny of your spiritual and natural life. Everything you experienced until now was the necessary preparation for this instant, when the word becomes living and effective decree. Listen carefully and repeat with me, because this is the prayer that causes tremendous breakthrough to come to your life in the coming days, tearing down any wall that prevents miracles and opening wide the celestial gates. It is decreed that miracles flow freely toward me, that every door opens without restriction, and that breakthrough arrives with speed and multiplied according to divine grace. I receive now this promise with unshakable faith, knowing that nothing can prevent supernatural intervention from manifesting on my path. I declare that every obstacle, every doubt and fear are annulled by the power of this word, which is a hammer that seals the pact in the spiritual kingdom. This is not a simple word, it is an altar raised in my life, a divine commitment that ensures the arrival of blessings without measure. I reaffirm with force, it is decreed that experiencing miracles becomes a clear and constant reality in my day-to-day. I declare that celestial provision activates in every area of my existence and that this current of breakthrough will not cease, but will multiply abundantly. I receive now without reserves or fear, because this promise is sealed with authority and celestial backing. Nothing and no one will be able to stop this manifestation of supernatural power that God has arranged for me. I feel how the door of inheritance opens and invites me to enter a superior level of divine intervention and fullness. So that this pact strengthens and remains firm, I invite you to listen to this prayer for 3 consecutive days. Repeat out loud the phrase, I take possession of this decree and allow miracles to come to my life now. Write in the comments this declaration of faith, because by doing so you are affirming and sealing your commitment with the breakthrough you have received. Share this message with those who also need to activate this supernatural intervention in their lives, because by sharing you multiply the blessing and manifest your confidence in the pronounced word. Every repetition of this decree is a reinforcement in your spiritual life, armor that protects your mind and your heart against doubts and fear. The breakthrough you are attracting becomes an unstoppable river and you are the channel through which it flows with force. Do not forget to return to this altar of blessing for 3 consecutive days, proclaiming with conviction and joy until miracles overflow without limits in your reality. The pact is consummated, the promise is yours, and manifestation is on its way. Trust that what you declared is not only word but power that transforms. The final door of inheritance is open and you are within that divine purpose. There is no turning back, only firm steps toward fullness and legitimate spiritual victory. Always remember that this ceremony of faith you perform today is the key so that tremendous breakthrough comes to your life in the coming days, and that supernatural intervention will be a living testimony of the power of the word and inner renewal. So be it, and may the blessing endure forever. If this message has touched your heart and you have witnessed the power of this blessing activating in your life, I invite you to subscribe to our channel right now. Do not miss any message of breakthrough and divine transformation. Click the subscribe button below, activate notifications, and be part of this community that walks in faith toward the supernatural intervention God has promised. Subscribe now and continue receiving powerful content that will transform your spiritual and natural reality. The greatest miracles are yet to come, and we want you to be part of this glorious journey toward breakthrough without limits.